is the official DJ of New York's. We got a brother in the studio that is doing big things. And we want to tell his story, and hopefully his story might be inspiring to you as well. His name is Maestro, the Hitmaker. He is the official DJ of New York's college team. The Syracuse Orange is also my alum. I'm an alumnus of Syracuse University doing big things. He's also a DJ. He's a promoter. They've got a radio station online, and he's also the executive director of the Good Life Foundation. He's also a professor of hip-hop studies at the State University of New York at Cortland.
The
brother is doing big things, and we've been watching this brother over the years. In fact, the story goes that when he was just starting out, and he can tell you the name of the hustle, when he was just starting out, he and I were hitting that early morning shift doing news when the station where we originate the show from first actually went on the air, and we were doing the news. But DJ Maestro the Hitmaker is in the house.
Hello, welcome. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for welcoming me.
Hey, listen, we didn't give him your government name. You want to give him that too?
Government name, Hassan Stevens.
There you go. All right. We just
put that out there. For those that don't know me, it's DJ Maestro.
Yeah, but let's talk about, first of all, congratulations on your success. Let's start with Syracuse University, the first official college DJ that they've had.
Yeah.
You DJ at the football games. You do it at the basketball games. And you keep it moving, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, the NBA's been doing it for a few years now. It started with the Miami Heat, DJ Irie. They were the first in the NBA to do it, and NCAA never really followed suit. So they always had DJs. I mean, I guess people that played music, but never an actual DJ in there hosting, hyping the crowd, keeping the energy, and we're happy to be the first ones to do it.
On the ones and the twos, right?
Absolutely. You got to keep it official if you're going to do it.
So you're in the crowd, and of course, the way we do our music today has changed so much. So are you actually spinning vinyl? What are you actually doing?
Absolutely. I use Serato, which is the industry standard now. So I use vinyl, except it's digital vinyl. So it gives us the feel and the ability to manipulate vinyl the way we used to with MP3s and a laptop. So that's the industry standard now for those real DJs. So
how did that come about? I mean, how did you get that?
I've been doing a lot of gigs. I've focused on SU as an opportunity to do events and stuff, and I've been doing like CUSE Awards. I did the Orange Madness event, and then just kind of developed and cultivated the relationship. And then I kind of approached them at the same time that they approached me. I saw what was going on in the NBA, and I had it in my mind and planned it for a while, and then just approached them and said, "Listen, you guys need a DJ. Let's make this official. I want to do the games in the Dome." So
they didn't know they needed you.
They did. Like I said, it was mutual. It was interesting because we met each other at the same time with the same idea.
But what I'm getting at is preparation met opportunity.
Right.
There's something happening in the business of sports, and they have an opportunity to watch you do your thing because you're in the midst of doing it.
Right.
And it was your idea is the point I'm trying to make. It was your idea to say, let's take this to another level. I want to emphasize that because we often think that opportunities just drop in our laps. They don't actually drop in our laps.
Right. I think you have to make them happen. And I think I showed them enough skill at the events that they had me doing. And I think they realized the potential and what could happen in the Dome. And it's a missing component, what they needed.
So this is big because now you can say on your resume, I've spun in front of 35,100. 400.
The biggest, actually, we have the NCAA record. The
Duke
biggest audience in NCAA history.
All right, take us into that moment and, of course, into that experience. And now you're on the ones and the twos. It's the biggest crowd in NCAA basketball history. And what does that feel like?
It feels great because I'm at the forefront of it all. Like, I'm controlling, I'm hyping. First of all, to be on the microphone, the minute they gave me a microphone, they done messed up.
Right.
So when you give me a microphone and I can talk to 35,500 people and say, make some noise, and everybody responds, and you hear that roar, that feels amazing. That feels great. To play music and to watch young, old, from different backgrounds, suburban, urban, dance into your music, to me that's amazing, and that's what I do it for.
What is the one song you have to play every game at Syracuse University?
Turn Down for What? They love it. They love it.
And I don't even know what that is, so help me out.
It's turned down for what? It's so crazy. It's just high energy, and the students love it, and I think the older people caught on to it, and so I that's a frequent one. I also play like shots, anything that surrounds basketball, the concept. So
do the players like come to you and say, "Yo, I need this"? In the middle?
No, it's funny because all the players were really mad at me in the beginning of the season.
Because they used to have their own mixtapes, right?
Well, a lot of times they'll have their own headphones and stuff, and and they will listen to their own music during warm-up. So I kind of come to a compromise. I play their music during the warm-up, and then I cater to the audience and the crowd during the rest of the game, because that's what, I have so many different people pulling at me. It was kind of stressful. We had marketing that was telling me to play one thing. We had the audience, it was older people, and they wanted nothing but old school and oldies. And then the players are predominantly black and young and in college, and they're like, yo, where's my 2 Chainz? Where's my, my Rick Ross and whatever. So I had to try to find a balance, and I think I've gotten to the point where I found that balance. But in the warm-up sessions, I play a lot of Dirty South, heavy, hardcore hip-hop, and then you'll see it transition, and then I'll play some oldies, and I'll play some techno or whatever. It's really got to be diverse. So.
Talking to DJ Maestro here on George Kilpatrick, Inspiration for the Nation. He is the official college DJ. He's official DJ for New York's college team, Syracuse University. Now, they say they're New York's college team. That's what they say. That's marketing department.
Absolutely.
But basically, he is the DJ that spins on the ones and twos at the basketball games at Syracuse University. Now, you do just men's sports? Do you do the women's as well?
I do men's football, men's basketball, and the women really liked me, so they were asking. But unfortunately, they don't get a lot of followers for their games. So I've been doing a couple. I don't do all of their games. And they just recently asked me to do lacrosse, so I'm going to start doing some lacrosse games as well. I guess it's been catching on. People like it.
Oh, in other words, so they changed the terms of the contract.
Yeah, we got to talk about that a little bit. A little bit more money involved.
Right. Now, lacrosse is a different crowd.
Totally, yeah.
A different. So do you have to? Is it still hip hop you're gonna do?
No, I got to cater to the audience that's there. I'm going to play predominantly top 40 and rock.
This is another Maestro moment, right? I'm giving you a little marketing thing right here, Maestro. So the second pearl we're going to drop, we talked earlier about preparation meaning opportunity, nothing new. But the other thing is you have to know your audience.
Absolutely.
And so you have to prepare. While you can do what you do, you might want to hear 2 Chainz, but the lacrosse team may want to hear what they may want to hear something else.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I try to cater to. I think part of my success here and my ability to get into certain groups that maybe like you said may not even be aware that they could use this type of talent is knowing what they want. And whenever I'm DJing for a crowd, I always want to know what my crowd is, what they're feeling, and I kind of play with them and see and test it, and then go full force.
When you say play and see and test, does that mean you might throw a song there, pull it back, and then throw something on?
Absolutely, I do that a lot.
Okay,
I do. I mean, the worst thing is walking into an audience that's and with you being blind, you not knowing what type of crowd, because nowadays you could have a total crowd of nothing but white people, but you know what? They may all listen to hip hop. It's just different nowadays, right? So I have to feel for what they want, and I test them and see what they react and respond to, and then I go full-fledged with whatever they look.
Let's talk about some of the things that you're also engaged in. Hip hop is an area that you teach at the State University of New York at Cortland, SUNY Cortland. Tell us about that class and what you do with your students there.
I teach basically the sociology of hip-hop, how it evolved, its impact, the socio-political history and connection with hip-hop, because I think oftentimes when people think hip-hop, they don't understand that hip-hop's a culture, and they don't understand that it's deeper than just listening to 2 Chainz or
rap, graffiti.
You got the 4 elements. Come on, George.
Wait. Let's go. Is this a quiz? Well, I know rap, graffiti, and
the MC. You got to say the MC, right? Because it's not just rap.
It's not rap, but rap is a part of
Absolutely.
it.
That's just the oral component of the music. So you got graffiti, you got the MC, you got breaking, and you got
yes.
And did I say I said the DJ? So
you said the DJ.
The DJ is the cornerstone, right? From the DJ came the MC. You got graffiti and you got breaking.
Right. Those are
so the 4 foundational, right?
And so what hip hop is under attack in many ways, or has been. Maybe the word is not under attack. Let me just say hip hop has been called into question,
right,
especially around issues of lyrics, around some might say misogyny in the lyrics.
Right.
What's the sociology around those issues?
I think, first of all, what people tend to forget with hip-hop is they point the finger and hold hip-hop accountable for social ills that have existed since the beginning of America, right? So you talk about violence. Well, we have a history of being almost in love with mafia movies, right? Terminator, Schwarzenegger.
Godfather.
We had Godfather. Exactly. We can go on and on. There is a long history of violence, not to mention the violence committed against people in this country. So for us to take hip hop and isolate it and say, racialize it. Oh, there's something wrong with this music. Nah, there's a lot of music that's violent, and I'm not exonerating it or taking blame from hip hop, because hip hop has to look at what it does to its own community. But you cannot sit here and say hip-hop is just a horrible thing when everything else displays violence too.
What is hip-hop doing to its own community?
It depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about hip-hop that's in popular media, I believe that hip-hop's killing it. Because what happens is killing the community, our community, African-American community specifically, or even the Latin community. Part of that is through a long history. We can't just look at hip hop. There's a long history of negative portrayal of African Americans in media, period, right? So from the minstrel days to blaxploitation to all of these different images, roles, and characters that have been created for us that we have then internalized and started to display and portray ourselves. So I think hip hop is no different from that. When you have an industry that kind of, forces one image as popular, that's a problem. That's what kids are going to watch. That's what kids are going to look up to. So if you're talking about popular hip hop, that's a problem. But people forget that there's all types of hip hop. You have Kendrick Lamar's versus the Rick Ross and the Young Jeezys. You have, Jay-Z, who I think right now is doing a lot socially in terms of trying to uplift his people and give out some messages that we need to hear. So there's a wide spectrum, and I think it falls under this glass microscope of scrutiny that's like, oh, hip-hop is just this, and most people don't know what it is.
What about Beyonce and what she had so put her in that context.
Okay.
Recently we just saw, the Grammy Awards and the opening set with her and Jay-Z.
That's the French name, Jay-Z.
Oui. Talking with, by the way, let me just stop and introduce and reintroduce my guest, DJ Maestro. He is the official DJ for Syracuse University, and he's also a professor of sociology at the
Hip Hop Studies
at SUNY Cortland, State University of New York at Cortland. We got some other hats we're going to unfold for him in a minute, but on this issue of Beyonce, what did you, and now you actually talked about her performance on social media. Let's talk about what you said about that.
First off, let it be known, I am a Jay-Z and Beyonce flag carrier. Okay, I love them as a couple. I love what they stand for. But I also
can concerned about their performance,
right?
And even when someone because it was kind of they're married couple. Well, there's two ways to look at it. They're a married couple. Thank you for showing me married love. Okay, fine. But
married lust.
Right. Okay, but you carry the flag for them. Go ahead.
That does not hold them above being criticized. Okay. I think that there's been a lot of controversy about Beyonce and her, I guess what people think, hypersexualized album. They think that she's been very sexual with this new album.
Right.
I think it's okay. I think she's talking about her husband. She's talking about a man that she's been with for years, and they're showing black love at its best. And you know what? There's a raunchy side to that. So what? She's grown. But there are some things that they can be criticized for. I'm not particularly fond of the lyrics in Drunken Love. I love the song. I love the beat, the feel. But Jay-Z's reference to Etta Mae or Annie Mae or
Ike Tina.
Right. Ike and Tina, exactly.
Right.
The volatile, violent relationship that happened between Ike and Tina Turner.
Basically promoting violence and domestic violence.
And I know it was done in a hip-hop-ish way where they're just kind of using an analogy to something. I just think that they could have, as wise as they are, and for as much as they promote and push, they could have rethought those lyrics. That's all I'm saying. But to me, that doesn't take anything from them as to who they are.
Nicki Minaj is another hip-hop icon.
Ooh.
that. I'm going with. Hey, you here? We're just gonna go.
Nah,
for
Nicki's
it, right?
cool. Nicki's cool.
Well, she's another one. So Nicki Minaj has a new album out, and on the cover is a picture of Malcolm X. Many of you know this picture. He's got the gun, and most of us, in the reference to that,
Right.
by any means necessary, he's
Exactly.
got the gun.
Yeah. She's looking out the window.
Looking out the window. That's what we. But she reappropriated that picture and then put some other words in there.
Right.
In fact, she put the N word.
Right. Looking a N word. That's the name of the single.
Right. Looking a
Right.
N word. Okay.
I had a problem with that.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
She since then, and I don't really accept that apology.
But go ahead.
Because the apology that she put out was really like, oh, what's the problem now? Okay, I'll apologize for the sake of putting it out on Twitter. I don't know if she fundamentally understands how hypocritical it is to use an image like that for a person who fought for our advancement and associate it with a song called Looking a N-Word. Mm-hmm. First off, when I heard
two pejoratives in one. Go ahead.
Yeah, now I heard there was a lot of controversy about the song, and I listened to the song, and I have mixed feelings about the song because on one hand, I actually like the fact that she's calling out what she's doing in the song is calling out fake personas that males often take on, and that's part of a problem that I see with blacks in our culture today. The bottle popping, fronting like I'm balling, fronting like I'm a drug dealer, fronting like I'm hard or I'm street or I'm hood or I'm this, and taking on these personas when you don't have to. And she does that. She really calls men to, to say, hey, stop taking on these personas and acting like you're this. Are we going
to go there?
Yeah,
Okay,
we have to go there.
Okay.
But then in the same instance that she's calling them out, she's doing the exact same thing.
We're on the same page here.
She's the male. She's the female version of what has gone on for years. And I think that's part of the problem. When you talk about Lil' Kim, Foxy Brown, and I was just talking about this in my class the other day, these women think that they're being feminist in some way. And the audacity for Lil' Kim to ever even have. She had a feminist class that was taught up at Syracuse University. One of the things I never really agreed with. They think that they are being feminist by adopting and taking on the characteristics of a misogynistic male.
Right.
Now they start talking in their lyrics about raping men, about sleeping with more than one man, about basically you now are the female version of the same male persona that was never okay in the first place.
But see, here we go again. That's back to your original point about what's popular. This is what is being drilled down into, and you talk about if there's any responsibility. Look, if there were more choices, right? Because to me the biggest loser in all of this is straight up R&B. Now I know Frank Ocean and maybe some other artists are trying to at least go in that lane somewhat.
Right.
J. Cole, maybe not. I don't know. But I'm just saying there are some that are trying to do that, and yet it appears though, if it ain't coming that way.
Right.
Now we've also, as a consumer, we've also now come to expect our music from these artists
to sound a certain way
and to come at us a certain way.
Right.
And if it doesn't,
then somehow it doesn't meet that level of authenticity or realness that
Yeah. But
when that level of authenticity that we're talking about is a facade in the first place, right? It's something that's been created that they're taking on.
So where are we then? Because you got Kanye on the other side. He's chilling for a minute. He's chilling for a minute. He's chilling for a minute, at least publicly about what he's doing. And anything? What's your class saying about him? What are you
about Kanye?
What are they saying?
Yo, Kanye reminds me of an angry black kid. He really does. I think a lot of what Kanye is saying is valid, and I think he's right about a lot of things, but he doesn't know how to express it, and he's going so overboard that his message gets lost in the chaos. First of all, what he's talking about. I was such a fan of the song "New Slaves." Mm-hmm. I thought it was amazing in terms of the way that corporate America really manipulates and tries to control and own us, right? But then he's a walking contradiction because he's looking for corporations to boost him up and
Nike,
give him
right?
deals.
And
And
he was
right.
mad at Nike, and he went to he was mad at Nike, and his deal is with Adidas or something.
He went to Adidas because Nike wouldn't give him the
Right.
type of deal that he was looking for.
Right.
For the Yeezys. Now, you cannot be a walking contradiction. What he's saying is very valid. He wants to have his stake. He wants to have his place as a black person in these industries, and they probably block him out. I mean, that's the nature. That's the history in America.
I think there was that interview that he did on was it 105, I believe?
105.1.
Yeah. And he talked about wanting to have a space and a stake in fashion. I mean, that's his new thing. Like,
Absolutely.
he should be on the runway with Anna Wintour and the rest, and he should have that
And
same
being
sort of-
pigeonholed into one industry.
Right,
Like, he's a rapper,
right.
he can't do this, and he's saying, I'm a genius, which is interesting. But
Well, when you look at that, I mean, look at your own life, and when you look over your life, and what has been your positive script that you've used to stay humble, or stay in the struggle, or however you see? I mean, how do you see yourself coming from? You grew up in the Bronx,
right.
Shout out to Edenwald Projects, I guess,
Yes,
if you
sir.
will.
Edenwald.
Which it's funny because I grew up in the city, and I actually went to the junior high school across the street.
Oh, okay.
As it turned out, so we were destined to connect, right, over the years. What's your key for you?
Key for what
Success?
specifically? Success.
Well, let me rephrase that. What is your personal positive script that you use to achieve and maintain your goals and aspirations during these times, or what some might say is trying times, given your background, coming from where you are and what you see as your purpose here?
Honestly, God. That's it. It's. Let me put it this way, and I know you're going to get into this, but there's a reason why I called the foundation The Good Life. What is it that you need to live a good life, to move ahead? You need God. You need God. You need to stay positive. And that's what I do. I have, when you talk about networking, you talk about relationships, people know they can count on me. When I build relationships with people, I very rarely burn bridges. I think there's an aura that I give off because I'm so focused and centered with God and what He wants me to do, that people kind of resonate with that and move with that.
Would you say then how you see it then? Let me rephrase that. We're talking with DJ Maestro. He's the official DJ for Syracuse University sports, if you will. And we're talking to him about his life and his life within hip-hop. And I asked him what he thought, how did he get through what some might describe as trying times? What is his script? And he said it was God. So do you think then that you are living through your purpose, capital P?
Yeah, I do. Absolutely. I think I don't know if I've reached the level that I'm, exhibiting my full purpose and capabilities, but I'm headed there. And, people, it's interesting because even within my family and the person that I'm with, there's always questions, well, why don't you just go get a job, a regular job, or why don't you?
So you're on your own hustle, so to speak. You're on your own
absolutely.
time?
I mean, I've designed. Very few people can say that they've designed their life the way that they want it. I make money doing what I love. I make money helping my people. You know what I'm saying? Like what better situation could you possibly be in? And I designed that and put that together myself. I get to do God's work and get paid for it. Wow. Mm-hmm. you understand what I'm saying? Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Lord.
Right.
I get to express myself in a culture that I think is beautiful, that is misunderstood, that reaches the forgotten people in a way. And I'm not. And please don't take this the wrong way. I'm not propping myself in a way. This is all glory to Him, all glory to God. I get to do that because of Him. And it's funny, it's interesting because even when I'm DJing and I'm doing a gig, the first thing I do is pray. I go through the same prayer each time. Lord, give me the strength, touch my hands, allow me, not me, DJ, touch my hands and allow me to create a performance better than the last. Thank you for the blessings and the skills that you've given me to shine and do the things that I do. It's not me. It's Him. I wouldn't be where I'm at without Him. So,
And so, therefore, you created a foundation called The Good Life.
Yeah.
And you get me talking in the vernacular. I forgot where I was from that. Oftentimes, DJ Maestro, you are often cavorting with some of the region's big ballers, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely.
You get to do that.
I'm at the table with millionaires all the time.
So talk about the Good Life Foundation and really what the purpose is there with our little bit of time we have left.
Okay, the Good Life Foundation is to cultivate a thinking of entrepreneurial skills amongst at-risk youth, ages 13 to 24. We do two things shortly. First, we have intensive life coaching for a core group of kids because we're not at the capacity that we want. This eventually, hopefully, can be scaled and taken nationally. Right. We create individualized youth plans with the kids that they create with our guidance of goals, milestones that they want to achieve towards success that they want to achieve. The other thing we do is outreach. So we reach out to the community to help through youth culture to educate youth on motivational choices, positive life-changing choices, and things to move toward what it is to have a good life. And that's really what it is.
How do you get the kids? How many kids are you working with?
Right now, we're working with a very small group of kids. So we've served, this past year, we've serviced about 500 kids. Now, that's a combination of our outreach and
different
our
efforts and events.
Right, and our life coaching. We are trying to scale. We're waiting for a contract right now from the county. We're scale up drastically.
The county where you are?
Right, Onondaga County.
Thank you. Okay.
Onondaga County.
Okay.
Because this certainly is not a local show, right?
No, right. So the people out there want to know, too, what you're talking about, right? Which is the county where Syracuse is located. You know, I got to tell you, so I love the idea of life coaching for kids. Some people call that parenting.
It is. It's a form of surrogate parenting. Okay. Because a lot of these kids are dealing with moms and dad not being there, and if they are there, sometimes they might be addicted to drugs, or they're absent, or sometimes they're not even taking on the responsibilities that a parent should.
If you were to call your life a mixtape, what would you call it?
Oh, wow.
I had to get you on one.
Yeah, that's wow. Journey for Fortune.
Journey for Fortune.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you to create that mixtape and put the songs on it, and I want to hear it.
Okay.
All right. I want to
put me to task. Okay.
I want to hear. What songs will you pick for that mixtape?
You asking me now?
Well, no.
Okay.
But we want to hear what those songs would be. But okay, let's give me a couple that you might like iconically that you must have on there. I don't know what the rest of the tape would be, but that iconically you would have on there.
Iconically. Well, I could tell you artists. I mean, I definitely would have Jay-Z on there. I might have a little Kendrick on there.
Okay.
Some Nas, a little,
the thinking man's hip hop, right?
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, that's my, if I'm making a mixtape for myself,
right.
Some J. Cole, things like that.
Do you make tapes for yourself? For you, is it harder for you?
Not really, man. I don't.
So that's what about Drake?
I don't. I mean, Drake's new album was okay. I'm not like a diehard Drake fan, but. He's kind of in the middle. I feel like he's transitioning from Young Money to Jay-Z side.
I haven't heard any Public Enemy, no old school.
Oh, no. Well, no, I definitely would have some throwbacks on there. Because the 90s hip hop is just the best.
Yeah.
So I definitely would have all of that.
Well, you know what? I have to say, I'm proud of you, brother.
Thank you.
And the work that you're doing. And I know that you are a blessing. You got a online station, IDV8. Radio.com, ID with a V and the letter 8.com, and they've got mixes up there as well. You can find, and the brother's just hustling. And I love one of the things that I hope you heard him say is that he designed his life the way he wanted it, and more power to you.
Thank you.
DJ Maestro, otherwise AK known, government name, Hassan Steven.
Do we have enough time to get the other websites in real quick?
Go ahead.
Myth of Maestro, MYTH of Maestro, MAESTRO.com. That's my personal site. And then the Good Life Foundation, which is the most important, is agoodlifefound.org.
agoodlifefound.org. Brother's doing his thing, and we were happy that we had a chance to talk to him. George Kilpatrick, Inspiration for the Nation. DJ Maestro was in the house.